All right, guys, look, man, we're here. Euro 2020 build up, Euro 2020 build up, man. Remember, guys, hit the link below to join the Euro 2020 Fantasy League. We have over 100 guys in there at the moment. Let's try to get to 500,000. Remember to click the link in the description box below to join my Euro 2020 Fantasy League. So this is the Netherlands. We are now going to look at the Netherlands team. And I have my friend here, also soon on my friend here, Rob, who are going to break this down and give us the Dutch perspective. So before we actually pull the team up, I want to just get your overall thoughts and aspirations coming into this, because as I said again, for me, I always put country ahead of club. For me, I just said, there is no higher honor than representing your country, either as a player or as a manager. So I thought it was really because Koeman really led a resurgence in terms of what Netherlands were doing in qualification, Nations League and everything. And I was like, he had something good going. And how he just let that down, and then he then went to Barcelona. I was like, why would you deny the chance of you leading out Netherlands to a Euros, especially when you were on such a good path, and go for Barcelona when you had a really good, exciting young team, and literally like Depay really owes himself to, he owes his resurgence to what Koeman was doing for them. So let me confess to Rob, what are your thoughts on Koeman stepping down at Netherlands, and how much do you think that could have harmed Netherlands' progression?
Koeman, he wanted to do both the Netherlands and Barcelona at the same time, but he wasn't allowed to do so by Barcelona. So he had to resign if he wanted to take the Barcelona job, which he wanted to take because it was probably a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for him, since he lost the club too much when he was a player there back in the day.
All right. Okay. So, what about you, man? What do you take on the whole Koeman the decision?
I think, obviously hindsight is hindsight, yes, but in the end, it looks like he made a horrible decision, right? He was having a good thing with the Netherlands. He was actually doing things with us. He led us to the Nations Cup final. It's not just a Nations Cup, but it shows it's better than what we did in the last two major competitions where we didn't even show up, right? So, and then what does he leave us with? A Class A brick? Crystal Palace, 4 matches sacked. Couldn't even win a title after being after having the better goal difference in the last match of the season against number 17 in 2016. So I think he made a mistake. He made a mistake that cost him, Barcelona, and the Netherlands. So everything went wrong for him.
Okay, look, man. Let's bring up this squad. Then let's bring up this squad. So here is the squad here. So shout out to Osuno, who also helped me to bring this in, because I think this is really the squad with all the options that are there, man. So let me start first with the keeper, because I think the keeper thing is interesting, because we were talking about it, I think, even on the hangar, with regards to talking about keepers, where there's a keeper you want for 90 minutes and there's a keeper you want for penalties. And especially when you're now going into tournaments, football and so forth, and Van Gaal did this to perfection, is if you really have to ensure that you have the right keeper for penalties and the right keeper for over 90 minutes. So coming first to Rob, are you happy for Cillessen to be the keeper, or do you think Krul, who is obviously the superior penalty stopper, should possibly be the number one ahead of Cillessen?
It's difficult to say, because all 3 goalkeepers have their issues. But also Stekelenburg has played very well for Ajax ever since Onana got suspended. So he's also an option, but I think that Cillessen will start, even though he had a terrible season for Valencia this year. And Tim Krul had actually played well, and he played every game for Norwich when they got promoted this season.
So, for you personally, if you're in charge, who do you start, Stekelenburg or Krul?
Probably Krul, because Stekelenburg only played half a season for Ajax in a poorer league compared to the Championship, with a poorer team in Norwich.
Okay. So what? Oh, so go on.
No, I want to say that Cillessen will start, even though he had the worst season of all 3 goalkeepers, but I will start Krul.
You see, for me, I always say that, I mean, and that's the thing is like, when you deal with this, there are managers who go via loyalty and managers who go via a meritocracy. I think Deschamps is definitely a guy who goes via loyalty, but I think if I was a manager and so forth, I know you get attached to players, but you must always go towards meritocracy. It doesn't matter what you did for me before in tournaments. How well did you play during this domestic season? So, I mean, what's your goalkeeper viewpoint?
I agree with Rob when he speaks about all three of the keeper seasons. Silesen was crap. Krul was pretty good for Norwich, and Stekelenburg, ever since Onana got his suspension, has been doing. He's rolling back the years, shall we say? I just want to look up how old Stekelenburg is. Jeroen, that's not Jeroen Stekelenburg. It's Martin Stekelenburg. We have like a pundit who's called Jeroen Stekelenburg.
Yeah.
38. 38.
38.
That's for a keeper. That's old. It's not Buffon old, but that's old. Now, what I say for Stekelenburg is he has experience playing in a major tournaments in 2010 and 2012 as the first choice goalkeeper. He reached the World Cup final. He was our goalkeeper when we reached the World Cup final, so he has this experience in the thing. But I think, and I don't trust Silesen. I really don't trust Silesen. I think the guy is actually not a good keeper. Like, he was okay, I guess, for Ajax, and when he made the move to Bar, I mean, he won maybe one Eredivisie maximum with Ajax, and when he moved to Barcelona, he was the bench goalkeeper. And then he moves to Valencia because he wants to become a first starting goalkeeper. Doesn't even manage to do that. It gets benched over there. So I think, I don't think I can trust Silesen, but obviously the Frank de Boer, like I can tell already with this team, there's a huge Ajax bias, right? And because he's played with Ajax before, he's going to, and because he's the goalkeeper before, he's going to use Silesen. I think Krul has the least chance of starting, but because, again, Stekelenburg plays for Ajax, and Krul also plays in the championship. So I think it's between. I think Silesen is going to start. My pick would be Stekelenburg, though, so because of the experience that he has.
All right, look, now let's not look at the defense now. So before we even look at the defense, I think, do you think, did Van Dijk make the best decision? See, my thing is that I think Van Dijk made the best decision because I think that he's like, what's the point in me playing under the Boer, who is a full-on breaker? I think, I bet you anything, if Koeman was still in charge, Van Dijk would have gone to risk it. So do you respect Van Dijk's personal decision, obviously due to his injury and everything, not to make it? Or do you think he should have still gone to represent his country? Because that is a huge, huge miss in defense. I mean, Rob.
It's not because of the managers, because he has been injured for almost an entire season. He's not match fit. And if he did play, he could get injured again. He has no match fitness. So he will not play a game if he did go, probably because of his injury and his lack of match fitness. So even if he went, there's not really a point because he won't play probably.
All right. So for you also, I mean, let's sort of combine it. So how badly do you think a Van Dijk miss will be? Or if you look at the defense, Van Aanholt, Vindal, Dumfries, De Ligt, De Vrij, are you happy with that defense without Van Dijk?
First of all, I've already accepted that we are sort of screwed for this Euros. I mean, obviously, we have a chance, right? And I'm always going to say we have a chance, and I want to win it, right? But I've already accepted there are teams that are way better than us. There are teams with managers that are way better than ours. So I think that Van Dijk, whether he played or not, especially this Van Dijk, who will probably again not be match fit, probably be very scared to commit too much because he hasn't fully recovered. It's best for the Netherlands, whether it was Koeman in charge or De Boer, that he stayed out, because then he can be fit for next year's World Cup, and then we can just go boom next year to when we have possibly a better squad, possibly a better manager, possibly there are many factors that will go into next World Cup, and the World Cup is the big thing, right? We've already won a Euros. We still have to search for that World Cup. So I think. Obviously, it's a huge miss, right? Van Dijk and De Ligt make a good partnership. But honestly, De Vrij
he's been good for Inter. He's been good amazing, for Inter. Right? Yeah. He came on screen and
I would say he's honestly not too much of a downgrade on Van Dijk. Where we struggle in defense is our fullbacks. Dumfries really, really attacking fullback. He's very he's actually sort of a Marcus Alonso kind of right back.
Oh wow, okay.
A brick in defense, but very good moving forward, and actually scores a lot of goals. And then I've never heard of Wijndal. I genuinely don't know this guy. I think Van Hadel will be starting. From what I've seen, also a very attacking fullback. So when we have a defense of De Vrij and De Ligt, I think that we will be okay. I think that those two can cover really well for the fullbacks getting out of position, and especially because national competitions are much more defensive, right?
Yeah.
Only 7 matches, so there's no room for mistakes. So that's why they're going to go much more defensive. And I guess the attacking fullbacks might work. I don't think it'll be too much of a huge miss. It's obviously a miss, but it's not that big of an impact.
So what about you? So Rob, are you happy with this? With what the defense looks like without Van Dijk?
Yes, I'm happy because De Ligt and De Vrij are still very good defenders. So I'm fine in that aspect. Only worry is the fullbacks that aren't great. And Veldman being included also raised a lot of questions because most people feel that he isn't that great, and he had a mediocre season for Brighton this year.
Oh wow, Brighton, damn, okay.
But he can play 2 positions, so that's maybe why he went with Veldman, and because he used to be an Ajax player.
Oh no, exactly. That's always key. Is that always take a guy that can make several positions just to cover your your
Blind.
ass.
Blind can also play at left back. So if we want a more defensive
midfielders
left
as well.
back,
Yeah, Blind can play 4 positions as a DM, center back, left back, and right back.
Okay, so look, man, let's look at midfield, which I think things are getting better right now. So 100% Frankie De Jong is definitely he's gonna start.
Ding dong.
So okay, so would you? So are you saying that you wouldn't start Frankie, or Frankie is a?
He's ding dong.
Okay, okay. So obviously you have him, you have Wijnaldum, and okay, look, I don't know what's happened at United, but I saw this dude at Ajax, and this dude was quality. And Klaassen is pretty good, but if it's between Klaassen and Van de Beek, I think Van de Beek is the superior player. And I think that especially if you say Frankie and Wijnaldum are sort of stay in midfield, and then you have a runner into attack, I think Van de Beek is a better guy running in from midfield and attacking. So would you go for, because obviously you would assume Wijnaldum and Frankie start. So Osasuna, would you roll with Klaassen or Van de Beek? I think Van de Beek is the better option as the attacking midfielder.
Klaassen has actually been very good this season. I've watched quite a bit of Ajax, and he is actually he's actually one of their top scorers as well. He does a lot for the Ajax attack, and he actually offers something that Van de Beek used to offer pretty much. Like what Van de Beek did, Klaassen has now taken over the job, and because Van de Beek is so not match fit, like you saw his performances when Ollie played him, they just weren't up to par because he just wasn't fit. He didn't know what was going on because he played maybe 30 minutes every month or something. So I think that match fitness really is going to be a struggle for him. So I think you go with Klaassen, you see how that goes, and I think it's just a sad story for Van de Beek. You can just blame Solskjaer. I think that's really the biggest thing. As for the other 2 positions, Frankie has to start because for Netherlands he is different from Barcelona. I think Koeman tried to implement the Frankie of Netherlands to Barcelona, and
it's different players.
Exactly, and so I think that's fine. Wijnaldum is obviously a good player. I think those 2 other midfielders are. I think Havenberg's versus Ajax. Goldmanners, I have no idea where it plays for, like Vitesse or something like that. But yeah, I think this is just what names are the starting lineup.
So what about you, Rob? Would you roll with Klaassen or Van de Beek as that third midfielder?
Klaassen, because Van de Beek barely played games for United. So it makes no sense. And Klaassen has played a lot for Ajax, and he's played very well.
I mean, I mean,
Koopmeiners plays up. Do you know where Koopmeiners plays?
He plays for AZ Alkmaar.
Oh, Alkmaar. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
So you'd go with this midfield then, Rob, of Frankie, Wijnaldum, and Klaassen.
Yes, that makes the most sense at the moment.
Okay, let's now look at the attack now.
This is the struggle part.
You see, here's my thing. So, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Koeman play Memphis as a striker?
Yes.
Yes, he did.
So he played him as a striker. So now, my thing here is this: is that if I was viewing this now, I don't know who Berghuis is, but Promise I think is quality.
Berghuis is actually really good. He's actually a really good player. He's been Feyenoord's best player this season.
Okay. So I've not seen him. So again, I'll take your word for it, just as I know Promise more than things. So my thing here is this: is that I would say, I know Malen. I saw Malen in some of the games. I don't know Weghorst, but
let me just tell you this now. Malen is a Class B brick. He literally cost PSV the Europa League against Olympiacos. He missed about 8 chances that game.
So who does this Weghorst dude play for then?
He plays for Wolfsburg, and he's amazing.
Yeah, he's like one of the, I think 4th top scorer of Bundesliga.
He has 20 goals this season.
Okay, so you guys then. Let me come to Rob then. You see, because my thing is that I think Memphis is the key here. And I think Memphis is a guy who this team should be built around. And I think that the way Koeman used Memphis is why Netherlands were so good, where he was like a striker stroke creative playmaker. So he would sort of basically, he was sort of like a complete striker where, okay, he's in the striker's position, but he could come in deep, he could supply things. So similar to how Wenger used Henry and so forth. So if we're now saying that you're not going to move Memphis out wide and you're not going to just play a striker, doesn't this negate from who is your most talented and your best player, Rob?
He can also play on the wing, because if we play him as a striker, we lack wingers, because we don't have a lot of wingers at the moment.
Yeah, I need to take Bergwijn out of the squad for some kind of reason.
But yeah, because I was about to say, like, yeah, I mean, wouldn't it make sense to bring Bergwijn? And obviously, look, De Boer is De Boer, but it does make sense. So if you bring Bergwijn, you have Bergwijn on one flank, Berghuis or Promise on another flank, and you now have Memphis as like a false 9 striker. Or, okay, fair enough. Let's say De Boer, you want to play striker, fair enough. That's cool. Because I'm trying to say, how do you fit Memphis in the middle? Because I think he's more effective in the middle than you push him out wide.
You can't at the moment with the lack of wingers that we have. And Bergwijn has been very bad for Tottenham this season. So it made sense that he's not there, because he has been very poor.
So, Rob, then, out of those 3 strikers, would you go with Weghorst or De Jong?
Weghorst by far, because he has 20 goals in Bundesliga this season. Last season he had 17 goals in the Bundesliga. And De Jong has like 4 goals in La Liga.
Like 10 appearances.
He has been terrible for Sevilla, De Jong. But he will start probably, even though he's much worse than Weghorst.
So what about your Suleiman work? Because I know of your love for Mr. Luke De Jong, but do you see?
I was really memeing. Like, there's a reason I was memeing like that. I know he's been crap this season, but I just want to say, even though he's crap, he's gonna win La Liga, right? But like, I love this guy. He is like, he's one of my favorite players just because he won us so many games for PSV. He's won us like 3 titles, especially 2 of them just by himself without Depay. So I think. He's been crap, right? And Malen's Class B. So I obviously start with Weghorst. And as Rob said, we can't put Memphis in the middle. First of all, Koeman was the one that put that, and Koeman had an entirely different way of playing to how De Boer plays. So I think that's sort of a creative aspect, like creative little tweak that Koeman makes. Normally, Memphis will play on the wing. He plays on the wing for Lyon, and he's fine there, right? So I think we will start with Memphis on the wing. And in my opinion, I don't know about you, Rob, but I go with Berghuis just because that guy has had a phenomenal season. He carried one of the worst Feyenoord teams I've ever seen to the Europa League qualifiers. So I think he scored like 2 goals in the playoff places for the Europa League spot. So I think he was he's key for also. His dribbling is very good. His dribbling and his long range shooting is what's his specialty.
All right, so let's now look. we've now looked at the squad. Now let's now look at the just the grouping now. So where are we at? So Austria, North Macedonia, and Ukraine. So now, so just to round this off, look, man, I mean, you would see the Netherlands I knew growing up, this would be easy picking. So the days of whether it was Kluivert, Bergkamp, Overmars, Seedorf, Davids, and so forth, this would be easy pickings. But it's a whole new team. It's a younger team. They're not obviously Robin, okay, my guy. They're not as thing as it used to be. But despite the change of manager, because again, I don't vouch for Depay. I think that is a massive downgrade. Do you still feel that Austria, North Macedonia, and Ukraine, Netherlands should still make it through this group? Rob?
We should make it through the group. The only one that's kind of dangerous is Ukraine, because Shevchenko has been doing amazing with Ukraine. But other than that, I think it's a very easy group.
Suleiman, you're looking at this group. Do you see a potential banana skin, or what's
Just
your
Ukraine? But I think we play. Do we play against Ukraine in Amsterdam? I think we play in that match in Amsterdam. So we have, I think, 1 or 2 matches in the Netherlands, a couple home matches in there. So I think this group should be 9 points. It really should be 7 or 9 points. Should be finishing top, but I don't know. I saw our performance against Turkey, right? And while we lost 4-2, their goals were pretty much like 2 free kicks, some crazy lucky goals. I think we defend reasonably, and the attack has started to click, at least when I saw our last games. So I think really North Macedonia 3 points, Austria should be 3 points, and Ukraine 1 or 3 points. We finished top of the group.
So lastly, honestly speaking, and I'm come first to Rob, how far do you think Netherlands go in these Euros?
The round of 16 or maybe the quarterfinals. At most, probably.
So you don't see them. So because again, like based on everything, Netherlands are like, would you say like would it be a surprise team? So you don't see any potentiality that they could somehow make the semis. I think final is a stretch, because by the time you get to the semis, you may have meets like a France, a Portugal, or maybe even a Germany. So do you think they're gonna get a semis, or you think it's a quarters max thing?
Players wise, they're pretty good, but you can't trust the manager.
Yeah. Okay. Also, Suleiman, where you was? How far did the Netherlands go?
Hashtag semis minimum.
Whoa, semi.
No, I'm just using your thing against you.
Yeah.
If I say that we're going out against Germany like 7-1, I think quarters. I expect we should be facing a good team in the quarters where the quality of the players isn't enough, right? So. Because if you look at all the national teams, they have great managers. Like Santos is a great manager. Love is a better manager than what's his face?
Yeah.
Deschamps, I don't trust. I don't trust that guy. I think he's not actually that great of a man. Like, you hold it against. Like, you can't hold anything against him. He won a World Cup without Benzema, right? But I just don't think he's that great. But France's squad is just ridiculous. So any of those teams are possible to face in the quarters. I think if we get lucky with the draw, we can maybe reach the semis, but around quarters and semis.
Guys, man, it's been swell. I wish good luck to you guys, the Netherlands, and so forth. And yeah, man, I'm excited for these Euros, man. And let's just hope that, because I think I don't have a lot of hope for Netherlands, not because of the players, because I love promise. The league is great. Frank de Jong is good for Netherlands. Depay is quality. I just don't. It's the ball is the issue. It's not the players. It's just the ball is just the issue.
Well, promise is questionable morality-wise, because he might have allegedly stabbed someone.
Oh, wow.
And he still got picked. So there might be moral questions about it, and maybe some law things.
It's just the Ajax bias. It's the Ajax bias of De Boer. If you see the squad, there's actually quite a bit of Ajax bias.
So he might have stabbed someone, but we don't know yet.
Okay, look, so guys, don't look, man. So thank you for joining in, guys, man. So guys, remember, guys, remember to join my Euro 2020 Fantasy League, man, and we stay tuned for a lot more of this Euro 2020 coverage, man. So thank you, Rob. Thank you, Suleiman, man. And guys, good luck for the Euros, guys. Peace out. Peace.